really pleased with the power and the weight. Even maneuverability is pretty good, and I'm just getting the hang of it, so don't judge me too harshly. Trying to smooth out some spots around the property where I had not been able to go very far with the AGCO. So I don't know if everybody can hear me when I'm on the tractor. So some of the things that I've noticed so far. Big power improvement over the AGCO ST35. Of course, we're looking at 74 engine horsepower, and the AGCO ST35 had about 33, and I may not be in frame there. A lot heavier. The R1 tires are awesome so far. It's got better traction, more power, more lift capacity. It pushes a lot more. It's just really everything that I wanted. Now there's a couple of things that I've noticed that I think could be improved. Not that I'm going to gripe about them or complain, but the comfort level of the seat, not great. Obviously this is kind of a budget entry-level utility tractor, so Kubota's operating station in general was a little bit more ergonomical on the M6060 that I test drove. The seat was a little bit nicer. The controls were a little bit better reach, better placement. Steering radius or turning radius was a little bit tighter, but I really don't have a problem with the Massey so far. I haven't found anything that I really just can't stand. It's just a couple things I noticed that with Kubota was a little bit better. As far as the other brands, didn't test drive them enough to really judge. But I'm not complaining at all. Oh, one other small thing. Where you put the key in, it's moved up into the console a little bit so that when you're getting off and on the tractor, there's no chance of you hitting the key. But maybe they tucked it in there just a little bit too much and it's kind of impossible to see the keyhole. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it a little bit better, but now it takes me 5 or 6 seconds to find where the key needs to go when I want to start the tractor. Other than that, it's probably going to keep me from ever breaking the key for sure, and I'm sure I'll get used to it as far as putting the key in. But that's another little thing that maybe just moving it up higher would have made that a lot easier so that knees wouldn't get in the way. Steering wheel would be nice to have a tilt. Not really necessary. I rarely ever used it on the Agco. I guess I just had it adjusted for me and got used to it. I'll get used to this one where it's at and probably won't miss it, but just a couple of small creature comforts that it could have as an added bonus. But so far in just moving everything, it has been awesome. If I don't hit a stump, I keep moving. So only upgrade for me right now would probably be a used bulldozer at this point. So Massey, great work. Power, traction, lift capacity, everything that I really needed has been great with this one so far. Massey 2607H. Good work, guys. This is a pond on the corner of a field, and it was keeping about 6 inches of water most of the year, and it had completely washed out right here. And idiot me 2 years ago tried to pack the dam back full of debris, and debris is a horrible idea, which I just didn't know at the time. I got all this red clay everywhere and filled it in with trash, as in brush and pieces of wood, and of course it washed out again. So it held water about 4 feet deep for a week and then completely washed out again. So I will try to get that fixed. Not really a priority right now, but I'll eventually try to get it done. I don't know if I'll have to dig this completely out or just build another layer of a dam and then maybe dig into the hillside a little bit. I definitely want to get rid of some of those trees on that bank. I just don't like trees leaning over a pond. Mostly pines anyway, so not really useful for me. All the hardwoods. So there's a tornado that came through in 74 and took out most of the mature trees that were closer to the tops of the hills. So the mature hardwoods are just over the edge of the hillsides. And there's not a lot, but there's some. So I would like to make a path around the pond on that side, which I have a four-wheeler path up there, and I could get the Agco up on a path there, but I'd like it to be just above the pond and come through and go around the edge where it had been bulldozed after the tornado and be able to access a lot of those hardwoods, especially some of them that have started to die. I want to be able to get some firewood out of them. You can see some little spots. I don't know if you can see it somewhere around over there. Washing machines, dryers, well, mostly washing machines. I didn't use a lot of dryers back in the 70s, at least not around here. Car frames, there is a big metal trough right here. I don't know what that's from. It's like half of a tank. I would assume they use it as a feeding trough for cows that were on the property. A lot of times you'll find really old bottles just get turned up. I don't know if that's a Coke or Pepsi or what. But find these all the time. If anybody collects bottles, it'd be a great place to live. I just try to usually set them in a pile next to a stump or on a stump so that I don't run over them. And I pick them up later when I'm coming through with a four-wheeler. All right, guys, let's try to do a little bit more of an in-depth walkthrough on what we've got. 84-inch bucket. It is skid steer quick attach. I ran hydraulic lines from the back remote. R1 ag tires, I do have them set out. The dealer, Chin Equipment in Ramsey, Indiana, set them out for me. The back tires are filled with rim guard. Should be about 730 to 740 pounds per tire. So that helps a lot when you're using the loader and you got a big load of dirt. It does have a bucket level indicator. I'm not sure that's really heavy duty. In fact, the mechanic there said it's okay, but you know, not the best that you're gonna find. So it works though, and hopefully I'm not gonna be hitting it against anything. The engine, no problems with it so far. The battery's up front, easy access, air cleaner, fuses and relays are up on top. Easy to fill the oil, check the oil. Fuel filters are on this side. I believe the oil filter and hydraulic filters are on the other side. And there's not a lot that I know about diesel engines. Just don't have a lot of experience with them. But I believe this to be the intercooler. And I get a little turbo down there. And I love the sound of it when it spools up. Pedal placement, all good. The diff lock, haven't used it yet, but I'm thinking that's pretty far back and kind of high for just, you know, rolling your heel back and hitting it when you need it. But I guess I can't really complain because I haven't had to use it. 4 speeds, 2 ranges. Pretty much everything I've done has been in low range. First or fourth are my preferences. First for ground engagement, fourth for just positioning. The 2 rear remotes, 3-point. If this rod was a little bit longer, it might get in the way of some guys with some wider rear quarters there. But when it's all the way down here, when it's all the way down there, it is, you do have to lean over a little bit to get it. So maybe doing a little bit different design on that handle would be a good idea for Massey. Throttle's nice. What I was talking about with the key earlier, don't know what order I'm going to edit this clip in, but the key is tucked way up in here, so there's no chance of you ripping it off or bending it when you're getting on and off the tractor. But it is a little bit hard to see when you're sitting up here looking down. You're basically just feeling around, and it is kind of hard to feel it. The loader control, very comfortable to get to. The shuttle's easy. The clutch is good placement on the pedal. While we're back here, I guess to talk about this Bush Hog 7008 8-foot blade. So far, I love it. I've bumped a couple of stumps gently and stopped the whole tractor, and the blade didn't complain at all. Hasn't been or anything. So hopefully I can take good care of that and it lasts a very long time. I'm glad I bought it. I did take the drawbar out. I just don't use it, so figured I'd go ahead and take it out. This toolbox is a little bit better than some of the other toolboxes I've seen from other manufacturers. It's actually metal, and it's long enough you can actually put something you'd use in it. I got a couple of pins in there and bushing. Owner's manual's in this bag. There is adjustment on the seat. Supposedly, if you adjust it right when you're sitting in the seat, those arrows will line up. I've not tried it, but when I sit down on it, the arrows are pretty close to lined up, so I haven't messed with it. Steps are really nice. I wish they were on both sides. I can get on and off over there, but 10 years from now, I probably won't want to as I get a little bit older and less flexible. Haven't had to put any fuel in it yet. They filled it up for me at the dealer, and I'm sure I'm gonna like that being right there. The only concern I have with this is if I'm going through a lot of brush, maybe bush hogging a pretty rough field, I don't want to throw up a stick and puncture that. There is a plate underneath, so you shouldn't have to worry about it there. One of the other things I really like about this design, and some of you guys, you may not care at all, but the offset front differential allows the drive shaft to be tucked up beside the oil pan and not underneath it. So what you get is a good sized, heavy tractor, good sized engine, but it keeps it with a low center of gravity because you're not stacking the engine up on top of the drivetrain or the front axle drive shaft. It's actually setting beside it. So to me, you're not sacrificing any ground clearance, and you're not making the tractor set up higher, so you're keeping everything fairly compact, and that makes it very stable on a hillside. So that's one of the things that really drew me to this, plus no diesel particulate filter, no DEF, no regen mode, good warranty, the best weight in the entry-level utility class. I think Mahindra was comparable, but nobody else really was. You can check my specs on that. Maybe I'll throw it in the video. The front axle also, instead of having the bevel gear compact tractor look, it's got these big, what is this, portal axle, whatever they call it. It's got a planetary out on the end. To me, that just looks a lot heavier duty than some of the others. The Kubotas probably turn a lot sharper by their design, but I think these look a lot heavier duty. Just my opinion, not going on any fact. And of course the rear axle that everybody talks about with these, if they like this tractor or had a 200 series, or even some of the bigger 100 series may have looked a little bit like that. Really beefy, lots of steel in there. So again, I wanted to get a tractor that hopefully will last me 20-25 years without any serious issues. I don't think I'm going to be asking too much of this tractor, as I'm just reclaiming a little bit of land. What do you think, Connor?
I think it's pretty nice.
I paid him to say that. He's actually a John Deere guy. I've got lots of brush to clean up. So this field, it's all hillside. But I guess the family that owned it before stopped taking care of it. Health concerns, whatever reasons. And so where the hardwoods start, that was the edge of the field. And a lot of stuff has grown up since then. They may have left a couple of poplars, but I would say this one's about 30 to 40 years old. And probably grew after they had already bulldozed the field, cleared it all off. So really taking out a lot of the saplings and cleaning up the brush. There is a little bit of barbed wire and fencing that I want to take down. You definitely don't want to hit it your first time not knowing it's there on a four-wheeler or just walking through the woods. Not a real comfortable situation to be in, stuck on barbed wire. And there's some, like I said, there's some debris, trash, washers, car parts, some farm equipment. Occasionally you find bits and pieces of discs, plows, just littered in the woods. So just try to clean it all up and make it a little bit better for the next generation if they want to live here. If they want to build on the property, they'll have a place for it, and hopefully it'll be in better shape for them than it was when I bought it.